in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country, the only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
Hi, I'm John Mallos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. Glad to have you along on this Thursday morning here on Comcast Channel 187, 43.6 and 13.1. And today we're going to be talking about crime. We'll have somebody in the house from the Fresno Police Department, the Fresno Police Officers Association to be exact. 436-ME-TV, option 11. Back in a moment. Glad to have you along. It is a Thursday morning, and remember to get out to the Fresno City Council. Of course, City Hall today at 5 o'clock. They're going to vote on that water issue. You might check out the Fresno Bee today. There's a interesting editorial written by one of the council members, Esmeralda Soraya. She is obviously going to oppose the mayor's water rate hike program, so check that out. Doug Vagam's column, his op-ed piece appeared yesterday. So it appears right now it is going to pass, but we'll see if another initiative is going to follow in the near future by Doug Vagam or maybe some other person here in the city of Fresno. Interesting to follow that. Hey, a reminder, you're watching us as usual, Comcast Channel 187 and 43.6. And then 13.1 is also live with us here. Now, if you want to check out the replay later today, we're on YouTube 13.6 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Hey, 8 o'clock tonight, 4.6 Biz TV, or you can set your DVR or, set your recorder, however you want to do it. You can watch it anytime. And later on, our shows get posted on YouTube, so you can watch them any time of day or night that is really convenient for you. Now, I want to get to the Janessa Ramirez case, or actually, I want to go to Twitter first. Hey, it's my Twitter account, John Mallos. There it is, at John Mallos, ME-TV. Follow me on Twitter any time of day or night. Matter of fact, I just got onto Twitter. Very interesting social media site. All right, now to the Janessa Ramirez case. I do want to talk about that. Let's put her picture up on the screen very quickly here. And I do want to mention that this poor 9-year-old girl was shot by a stray bullet on January the 18th. She was with her mom near Clinton and Mark. She wanted to go in and cash a lottery ticket, and there she is now, a beautiful girl, went to Steinbeck Elementary School, 4th grade. Janessa struck down way too early in life, and that's where it happened. There's the map right there. Now, as you know, in the initial stages of this investigation, Brian Cooks, 22 years old, and Isaac Stafford, 19, were arrested. There they are. And, it's really interesting that one of these men, they were let go. I don't know the reason why. I still to this day don't know why. Now, an interesting development that happened just in the last couple of days, there was another man who turned himself in that was in that Dodge Challenger. His name was Dante Hawkins. He was turned himself in, but then he was released. So the investigation is ongoing. We've had Stacey Ramirez here on this program a couple of times. And also today, I want to roll the videotape. We're going to be talking about this Janessa Ramirez case, but we're also going to be talking about Fresno police wearing body cameras. Yes, body cameras. Fresno Police Chief Jerry Dyer made that announcement recently that body camera program is ushering in a brand new era for law enforcement here in the Central Valley, thanks to an anonymous donor who coughed up $500,000 to pay for the program. There could be as many as 400 policemen wearing these body cams. In fact, Sheriff Margaret Mims weighed in on this, saying that she thinks this is the future of law enforcement. Hey, I'm pleased to announce live in our studio right now is Jacky Parks. He is the president of the Fresno Police Officers Association. He'll be talking about the Janessa Ramirez case. He'll be talking about gangs, the body cameras, and also your privacy is at stake as well here in the Fresno area regarding social media, bank accounts, and all the rest. We'll get into that with Jacky Parks as well. And you are welcome to call in today, 436-ME-TV option 11. Jacky Parks, one of the good guys, Fresno Police Department. He's been here before. I really enjoy his company a lot, and you will too. Back in just a moment.
The Ballad of Andy and Barney. Andy and Barney were lawmen, bravest you ever did see. Warned every crook in the record book to stay out of Mayberry. They were the law.
Yes, they were the law, and they didn't know fear.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I guess to sum it up, you could say there's 3 reasons why there's so little crime in Mayberry. There's Andy, and there's me, and baby makes 3.
Now on MeTV Fresno.
Euronews, most-watched news channel in Europe.
A lot to talk about here the next 30, 40 minutes here with Jacky Parks, the president of the Fresno Police Officers Association. Good to see you this morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me again, John.
Hey, I appreciate it very much. Always enjoy your company, either whether it's here or on Power Talk or whatever. Good conversation always with you, and I appreciate your time. So I want to get right to the Janessa Ramirez case, and let's put up the 2 characters that were involved in this, the 2 gang members, and because I want to get right to this. I believe Cooks is the man who is still in custody, and Stafford is the one that was let out, and Dante Hawkins turned himself in yesterday, was released. This is a tough one to solve because there's so many factions involved and trying to figure out who was in the Challenger, who shot when and where. This is a tough case to solve, isn't it?
Well, it's a tough case to even to listen to and watch as a citizen in the community of Fresno. And you know, I want to be very clear that I'm here as the president of the Fresno Police Officers Association, and I'm not here as a spokesperson for the Fresno Police Department, and I'm not engaged in the investigation or have knowledge of really of the intimate details.
Yeah.
I have a lot of information throughout my career with experience dealing with gang members, trials, processes, staffing levels, programs that we have available that address gangs or people who would like to get out of gangs. And I'd love to make myself available to offer any information to any of the callers or to you to answer any of your questions that I can on any of those perspectives.
How would they get a hold of you? Like, let's say a gang member wants to get out of a gang. Maybe somebody watching this program now, if they want to get a hold of Jacky Parks and they want your help, they need your help, how would they get in touch with you? Call the police department or?
Well, for me, I am off-site. I'm at the Fresno Police Officers Association. We're in the phone book. But more importantly, we actually have the Mayor's Gang Prevention Initiative, and it is a program that is designed to help existing gang members, and there are a few conditions. You can't be wanted at the time by the police.
I see.
But there are some conditions, but they can call it. It's on the City of Fresno website. They can call the police department and ask for the Mayor's Gang Prevention Initiative. It's a fantastic program that really is understaffed for the number of gang members that we have in our community and probably underfunded. But it's a program designed to assist existing gang members in getting out of a gang. They even go as far as they have a program to help remove tattoos so you can eliminate your gang tattoos in that
Wow.
program.
Wow. And they can contact you directly at your office too.
Absolutely. They could get a hold of me over at the Fresno Police Officers
Yeah.
Association.
I want to roll the videotape here called Fresno Police, because they're doing the best they can, and you've been directly involved, not specifically in the Brian Cooks, Stafford, or Hawkins case here involving the Janessa Ramirez shooting, but you've been involved in other gang investigations. And tell us just briefly, Jackie, how difficult it is to track, to get evidence, to get people to talk. Extremely difficult?
It is very difficult. I mean, one of the ways gangs are successful within our community is intimidation, and they live out there amongst the community, and they're very intimidating. And for the good citizens who want to get involved, they're scared. They're scared to get involved, and they need assurance that they can remain anonymous and have some form of anonymity so that they can provide information to assist us in catching these guys.
And we're looking at video of Lieutenant Joe Gomez of the Fresno Police Department right now. We'll play this out, and here's some video of you know, some gang activity, one member coming out and turning himself in. You know, this gang problem is so large. I didn't realize how many gangs were actually in Fresno. Some 20 to 25,000 gang members, or some people that are affiliated somehow with gangs, and about 4,000 to 5,000 of those are Bulldog gang members. I didn't even realize that.
Yes.
So it's a bigger problem than most people think, I guess.
Well, and you have to look at a gang. You know, these aren't folks that are going to work and have jobs and are earning money like good citizens are doing.
Like you and I.
Absolutely. So they're earning their money by stealing property from good citizens, by selling drugs, by running prostitutes, by stealing cars or car parts. They're involved in many other activities that are victimizing our community. And you mentioned the number of gang members that there are in the city of Fresno, and unfortunately gangs aren't unique to just Fresno. They're everywhere.
But why are they migrating here? It seems like we have such an influx of gangs.
Well, I think one of the things is Fresno is the largest city that's located in the Central Valley. The cost of living is cheaper to live in the Central Valley than it would be in the Los Angeles area or in the Bay Area. It is an affordable location for a gang member to be. I also look at, with a city of our size, there's a lot of victims to choose from.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, our staffing levels have went from 849 in 2008 to where we're at 708 today. And even though we're trying to hire more officers, finding a qualified, experienced person that could be an officer has proven very difficult. In fact, since January of last year, we have hired 57 new police officers. In January of last year, we had 698 officers. Today, we're at 708. So hiring 57, we have a net gain of only 10 officers.
Yeah, you need more. You need more.
Absolutely. And that's one of the issues with combating gangs on the streets. We don't have the officers. They're responding to call to call to call, and they don't have the time to do that proactive enforcement. Because we're low on staffing, the chief used to have multiple special units that were proactive units that were going out trying to identify who these key players were, and addressing some of those other crimes that we could get these guys off the streets, the auto theft, the stealing auto parts, prostitution, drugs. It's very difficult now with the staffing levels that we have to try to have these special units and be proactive when we're struggling just to respond to calls for service.
Yeah, and Prop 47 hasn't helped.
Oh, not at all. It's the chief has some great statistics that he's been starting to share with media outlets on the change since Prop 47 with our property crimes, and it is just
only been
shocking.
2 months.
It's shocking.
It's only been 2 months. It's been in effect 2 months, right?
Yeah. Well, our citizens really were I think really duped with the initiative. There was a lot of money put into that initiative, and unfortunately, a lot of the information wasn't getting out from the no side, and now we're going to be dealing with the consequences.
Okay, we're going to be back with Jacky Parks, the president of the Fresno Police Officers Association. You can call in 436-MeTV option 11. We're back in a moment.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want. Save now on Frigidaire's Advanced Affinity Laundry Pair. Let Frigidaire save you energy, water, and time. Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
Good to be back here on the show. Connect with me. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
A direct question. You know, I think the chief has done a great job in Fresno with being understaffed and whatnot, and all these programs for. I think you have to realize, and he knows himself, that a lot of the gang members are recruiting young 13, 14-year-old kids that are either out of school or are a nuisance in the school environment, okay? So a lot of the gang members know that they can recruit these young kids, and then as they get older, because the older generation, it's going, but the younger generation, they want to be the next big shot in the areas. But I think that the chief has done real well as far as, you know, the rapport with his officers, but he's understaffed, because he can't cover a big territory like Fresno and all that. I know here in our town, which he probably might know, because there were, you know, a lot of norteños, sardeños, and bulldogs moving into the areas like Reedley and Orange Cove, because a lot of them have been, you know, been kind of picked on, and so they move on. Yeah. But Fresno still has a lot of bulldogs, and it's not the older generation; it's the young generation, and it's up to his staff and his program to keep these young kids occupied with programs so that they could show them that that's not the way to go. And they're doing a great job. But
all right, thank you very much. Good call. Obviously,
absolutely, and he's right on mark with the younger generation. And with our staffing levels, one of the programs that suffers is getting officers into the school system so that they can have an impact with our younger generation. And the scary thing is on the older gang members, they've made their mark. The younger gang members, they're the dangerous ones. They're trying to make that name for themselves. They're trying to be discovered, and
they want their 15 minutes of fame.
Absolutely, and we miss that mark right now. We have a limited number of our officers that are in the schools, and we really are focusing on the high school level versus elementary school, where we can get to them at a young age and try to steer them away to sports or other programs at the school or within the community.
Quickly, I want to run a soundbite of Jerry Dyer. This was on December 3rd, 2014, just a couple of months ago, addressing staff members and members of the Fresno Police Department at the auditorium, talking about gangs and gang shootings. And here's what he had to say. This was well publicized across all the media outlets here in the Central Valley. Take a listen.
In this room, that we have seen an increase in violence over this past month, and actually probably the past 6 to 7 weeks. And I'll tell you this, as of Monday, we had 29 shootings in our city over the past 3 weeks, and the majority of them involving gang members. This past Sunday at 1:30 in the morning, we had a shooting that occurred at 625 North College involving Bulldog Gang, and a 16-year-old girl, an innocent 16-year-old girl, was shot in the head by a stray round. That girl is laying in the hospital right now in critical condition, may or may not survive. And if she does survive, she's going to be paralyzed for the rest of her life.
Heartbreaking story, but one of the other things I've heard, now I don't know if you've had this happen to you or your family or any of your coworkers in the Fresno Police Department in years past, but the chief has often said, hey, I've been threatened. Our officers are on the street are threatened by some of these gang members. Does that happen?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, to the degree where we are having to get restraining orders to keep gang members or their family away from officers.
Wow.
With the access to social media, with Public Records Information Acts, it's very difficult to keep any information private anymore. And
even your home address or anything.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just cell phone.
And most of the officers, not all of them, live in the Fresno Clovis area. And it's not uncommon. It's happened to me several times where you will go shopping in a store. You can't live in fear. It's random, but it does happen where you will run into these guys at the store, at a restaurant, when you're getting your car smogged. You see them at a gas station.
What do they say?
And typically everybody stays away from each other, and there's not a problem. And we've probably been very fortunate in that way. But there are times, and we have seen it here at the Fresno Police Department, where there are some random acts of violence, and maybe cars of officers are targeted at dressing stations, or police cars are targeted. So the chief's car's been targeted.
Yeah, at the station.
At the station. It is a reality, and we know that getting into this field, and that's where we just have to educate our families on what we do. I've had times when we were having series here in Fresno of Chinese restaurants were getting hit by robbers who were doing restaurant takeovers, where they put all the customers on the floor, they took their wallets. And you have to educate your family that, hey, don't say daddy's a police officer, don't say anything like that. And it's a dangerous situation, but you need to let them get out of there so that you don't create any circumstances where people get injured or your own family gets injured.
Well, in my opinion, they can't pay you guys enough. I want to take you to another piece of videotape. It's called Gangs, and it was a special done by the History Channel. It was called Gangland. It was a couple of years ago, very widely seen by millions of people across the country, and it focused on the city of Fresno. Here's one small clip. Take a look.
Their bite is worse than their bark.
Boom, 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 give it to me, dog. I don't care who you are, you're gonna hate us.
These hardcore killers are terrorizing Fresno, California.
Just walking up to somebody, putting a gun to their thumb. It's a rush, man. Just nothing like it. If you're either with us or you're against us.
Come on, kick them!
And everyone is an enemy.
We've had death threats against our gang officers, against me.
We're bulldogs, you know? We don't give a
What is wrong with our society today?
Well, I don't think we should overgeneralize our society. I think we have a segment, and it's really a small segment of our society that creates these problems, and it's unfortunate. And I think the biggest problem that we have, John, is priorities in government and where we're focusing our finances to be able to address issues. And the public safety has to be the #1 priority.
But it makes no sense to me to pour all this money into the police department and all this equipment to fight a major problem like gangs and crimes, and then Prop 47 comes along and just cuts you off at the knees. I mean, it makes no sense to me. It makes
did.
no sense.
I think voters were misinformed.
Yeah.
I don't think we as a society spend enough time educating ourselves on measures that come before us. And we typically go into the booth or vote by mail, and we just read a small little blurb, and we're in a microwave world. We're always in a hurry. We're trying to do things fast. We're in a world now where typically both the husband and the wife have to work to be able to make ends meet and afford a home and live that American dream. So everybody's busy, and things that are important we don't focus on enough and spend enough time on.
Jacky Parks is here from the Fresno Police Officers Association. He's the president. 436-BTV option 11. We got an open line, so call in and weigh in if you want. A lot more to talk about here on Connect with Me.
Almost time.
Now we'll find out once and for all about Clark Kent and Superman.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a TV show.
Yes, but who is he? What's his name?
He's Superman.
Golly, Clark, won't that be wonderful seeing Superman?
Fighting a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and television the Me TV way.
No one can do the things that Superman does.
The Adventures of Superman.
Now on Me TV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Back here on the show with Jacky Parks. You know, we could roll a videotape again watching the Fresno Police Department in action as we talk about body cams. Of course, it was recently announced that, you know, this big donation was made, hundreds of thousands of dollars to add these body cams here to the Fresno Police Department. Yeah. You're in favor of this?
You know, from the Police Officers Association, our position is neutral. And the reason we're neutral is there's a lot of concerns that still need to be vetted out on the body cams. Okay. But most importantly, because it is a good piece of equipment, there's a lot of value to this equipment.
What are you concerned about?
Well, the primary concerns that we have, one is cost. Right now we've received this donation, which is extremely generous, from a citizen of $500,000. But $500,000 is not going to cover this program. In order for us to store the video, to be able to, and this is where it gets very convoluted, is there are so many pieces to this puzzle. For example, once you do a recording and you want to go to court with that recording, it has to be transcribed. And typically we would have a recorder, a digital recorder, and it's a controlled environment like we're in right now. And it would
Will it have the date and the time?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
But it would have just your voice and my voice, and it's very easy to transcribe. Now take a video that has 8 voices, 9 voices, 10 voices, and it's not one video, it may be 4 officers at the scene. Who's going to pay the cost to have those videos transcribed to be used in court? The officers have to watch that video prior to writing their report. If they have, let's say just for sake of argument, an average of an hour of video that they're writing reports, they have to watch that. That's an extra hour now that they're not out answering calls for service, that they're inside watching video to write their report. Less officers on the street, it may become and will become an overtime issue. Officers have to watch that video before they go to court. So that's another overtime issue. So there's another added cost. And I don't think anybody's looking at, they're looking at, oh, we've got the money donated for the cameras. That's great. But the storage is the most expensive part of a video system. And I talked with the administrator for the Oakland, California's police department for their program. And they chose not to utilize evidence.com, which is the system we will be utilizing and storing our data onto the cloud. They created their own system because as they went through the program and started looking at the cost, they had 1 month in April, which for us would start getting busy as well, where they had, I believe he called it 40 terabytes of data to store, which would have cost them $50,000 just for that month.
Wow.
So, and we're in this system. So the storage for data, as we start building data, and keep in mind, we have to store this until cases are not just criminally adjudicated, but civilly. If there's an administrative complaint tied to it, we have to store it until everything is adjudicated.
So there's more to it than meets the eye.
Oh, absolutely.
Caller, go ahead. You're on with Jacky Parks.
I heard a while ago that Washington, D.C. just okayed marijuana. So that's how our government's going, and that's the way everything's going today. I'm glad to see that Fresno cut that off, because every time you bust somebody, 9 times out of 10, you see marijuana and you see coke and so forth. I think what we need is a harder look at these people. They act like children, treat them like children. You know, you got to do something. Maybe what we need is some good old vigilante law against to help you guys out.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I don't think that would be probably in the best interest of everyone. But I understand your frustration with the laws. And I think a lot of people look at marijuana as that it's a very low-level drug, that it's typically considered like a very mild party drug, that people are just happy. And what they don't realize is that the chronic users of marijuana and the damage that they're doing to their brain and the other medical issues that it creates. And then we have honey oil now, which is so much more stronger than what marijuana is, and they're smoking that. And
it leads to other drugs.
Oh, absolutely. We've known for years it's a gateway drug. But this honey oil is so much more potent than regular marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
It is doing the damage to their brains so much faster. And then we have the associated fallout from that they're doing this in their home, which is highly volatile and explosive. And in the city of Fresno, we have had at least 3 of these homes blow up, injuring people in, I'd say, the last year and a half.
Wow. Hey, getting back to the body cams just for a moment, if we could here. In the long run, do you see this as a productive program, maybe a program that could cut down on crime, if you can tackle the financial issue?
I don't see the body cameras cutting down on crime at all. I mean, we've had cameras around the city in stationary positions. The cameras aren't going to prevent crime or stop crime. What the cameras will do is perhaps present a clearer picture or provide evidentiary value to an investigation.
Will it help convict someone, maybe?
It's entirely possible that it will, and I think that's the desired, as well as kind of the big brother effect, that there's a small segment of society, as we saw back in Ferguson in New York, of citizen or advocate groups that
claiming
want
an officer,
officers to wear these cameras to see what the officer is doing. And
because if a claim goes out against an officer, there's the proof. The videotape will show everything.
Possibly. The problem
not
with,
everything, but I mean, you know.
The problem with the videotape is it doesn't capture everything, and cameras break loose and they swing, and audio may work or not work.
Video could be fuzzy.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of factors that come into play with the video camera, and I think another concern that people don't realize with the video camera is most citizens, particularly law-abiding citizens, they believe they have a right to privacy, especially in their own home. Well, as a police officer wearing a camera, we're going to have policies that stipulate when we should turn the camera on, when we should turn the camera off.
That's another thing, yeah.
But if we have a volatile situation, or we have a person
shootout,
who is not complying with us, that camera, that's why it's there. It's to be on, whether we're in your house, a hospital, a church, a school, a business. We're going into places now that people believe they have an expectation of privacy, and I guess under the auspices of the greater good, and to capture that evidence and to help citizens who don't trust police officers, they'll now have this video footage. But you know, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Let me get to another issue and talking about privacy here. I guess according to some of the documentation here, and I guess Channel 30 has done a productive story about this. Talking about the Fresno Police Department now, with high-tech technology, they can use to monitor law-abiding citizens' free speech, social media accounts, phones, bank transactions, where you shop, where you eat, photos, videos, public records, etc. Does the Fresno Police Department have this kind of technology, and are they using it?
We have just obtained that technology, and as you mentioned, Channel 30 did a story on it, and that information is referenced from the story, and it's basically technology that's fantastic for us to be able to locate somebody who has committed a crime and is trying to hide from the police. It's fantastic. The downside is the technology isn't focused on just bad people or parolees or people on probation. The technology creates profiles on every citizen who is using social media, email, a bank card to purchase items, to gather public information. And
you have a problem with that, or?
Well, as an individual, I do. I think, you know, there's, as a police officer, we've always been required to get search warrants, go before a judge, so there's another layer of review that I can't just obtain somebody's or violate somebody's privacy without that. And here is a software program that gathers our personal information, including statements that we make and our freedom of speech.
The question, though, is, Jackie, would it be admissible in a court of law?
I believe absolutely it would be.
All of this information collected through this software, because you're not going through the court system. You're not asking for a warrant for somebody's arrest. You're not asking for anything from a judge. You're just using this software to monitor people, and that's admissible?
Absolutely.
Really?
They're stating that the company that has created this software, it's all under the auspices of its public information, that they're gathering public information. What we don't realize as citizens is when we go to McDonald's or any type of restaurant, I don't want to pick on McDonald's, any restaurant that has a computerized cash register, anything that we might order online, when we use that debit card or a credit card, that information is captured, and many of us don't read the fine print or know the laws under the Patriot Act and other laws that have changed since post 9/11.
No search warrant needed for these?
No, it's considered public information. And
where do you stand on it as far as the Police Officers Association?
Well, as the Police Officers Association, again, we've got kind of a neutral position, but we're a little scared about this. Again, it's that double-edged sword. It's a great tool to be able to catch bad guys. The problem is the information that's being gathered is on everybody, and it's not just on bad guys. And I'll give you an example. I know a lot of people are very concerned about firearms, and there's a lot of laws that have been instituted because of school shootings or mass shootings that are designed to keep track of bullets, put serial numbers on bullets, the number of bullets you can buy, the magazine capacity for a magazine that you would place in a firearm, the types of guns you can own. Here in California, very restrictive, one of the most restrictive. It's not quelling the shootings from happening, but who are we monitoring with that? We only monitor the law-abiding citizens who register their guns, who do that. They could just as easily create a system that says, Jacky Parks is on parole. He was arrested. He's a convicted felon. I'm the guy that's in the system. So when I go to a gun store, that system is saying, Jacky Parks can't own a gun. He's a convicted felon. He's been on parole. He's a bad person. He's lost his privilege to own a firearm. But instead, we have a system that tracks all the law-abiding citizens, and one that doesn't track who the felons are and
who the bad guys are.
Yeah. So I think the concern we have is how the system is used, and I think everybody should be very concerned about all of their personal information. I mean, you can post in this program, according to the news article, you can post a comment, and that comment, if you were to say, oh, I saw that girl, she was very pretty, she was the bomb. You said bomb. Bomb elevates your threat level in this program, even though you used it in a very innocent way. the program just calculates that you said bomb.
You know how you get angry at somebody and say, oh, I wish that person dead.
Yeah.
Better not say that
Yeah,
on social media.
well,
Better not say
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Your threat level in your profile, because this program is creating personal profiles on all our law-abiding citizens.
And we've all said that in joking. I mean, we don't really mean that at all. We're emotional at the time. I mean, you've said it, I've said it, everybody's said it, but don't say it on social media because people won't take that as a joke.
Well, and you could, in the article, they touch on a woman who was having a poker game, and she said, you know, it was a great time, and it was all the rage.
Yeah.
She used the word rage, elevated her threat level, even though she's not a threat. It was very innocently said. So the important thing is at the end of the day, that information is going to be filtered by an actual human who's doing the investigation.
Yeah.
The problem is it's a law-abiding citizen who did nothing wrong other than they used words that elevated their threat level because a computer database is creating our profiles on us.
And choose your words wisely.
1984, huh?
Wow.
It's the movie all over. It's pretty scary out there. And from an association perspective, and we represent officers, I know the focus is to be used for criminal investigations, but will this be used for administrative investigations when there's a complaint against an officer? Are they going to utilize this software? Will private companies who have to investigate employees because there's a discrimination allegation, are they going to be using these programs and looking at their employees' profiles?
A little bit of advice: if you get into an argument with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, a coworker, don't do it on social media, because you might be setting yourself up anyway.
It's very scary where this can go, and who's regulating it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Jackie Parks.
John, thank you for having me.
Hey, well, are you kidding? Thank you for taking the time. I know how very busy you are, and you know, I'd love for you to come back sometime.
Absolutely, anytime.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time, Jackie Parks, and have a great day. Jackie Parks, our friend here at Connect With Me, the president of the Fresno Police Officers Association. Don't go away. Our second guest coming your way in mere moments here on the program.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
You can find movies on over-the-air channel 13.3. Movies. Our name says it all.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the low-price leading brand's reliable advice place. The Frigidaire Gallery Dream Kitchen Get Yours Today place. You with me? Right now, get huge savings on select Frigidaire Gallery appliances and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months at the hometown low price think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
From a top secret location, it's the Spies Who Loved Me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring.
That's right.
Brave.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best we can.
Suave.
Does that apply to me, Oscar?
Possibly.
And smart.
The old finger in the gun trick.
Maxwell Smart.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Want to create something extraordinary? Create perfection. Our lifestyle appliances make it easy. KitchenAid, Ventura TV appliance, and you, when only the best will do.
Retro TV, your home for classic television. The greatest shows in history are here for you to enjoy. Join Cosby and Culp as secret agent men in I Spy. Ride along the Ponderosa with the Cartwrights in Bonanza. Hit the beat with Joe Friday in Dragnet. And that's not all. Retro TV offers endless fun and excitement for the whole family to enjoy. Retro TV, the best in classic television.
You can find Retro TV on over-the-air channel 13.4.
Back here on the program today on Connect With Me, time to switch topics slightly here. Time to talk about major problems that are going on, or have been going on, I guess, for quite some time at Fort Miller Middle School. That's at Fresno Unified School District. Some shocking details emerging in the Fresno Bee just within the last couple of weeks. You may have read the story. There's a picture of Fort Miller. Let me go over this as you look at the school itself. Talking about fights, drugs, assaults on teachers, bullying. Some students are flat out disrupting classes. It's an absolute mess. Parents are yanking their kids out of school there. In fact, in late January, a 13-year-old showed up on campus with a pellet gun that looked like a 9mm Glock, according to the Bee. No one was injured, thank God. The boy was not arrested. But even more alarming, school officials did not call for a lockdown, according to the Bee. And that's only half the story. What is going on here? Hey, our guy, Brooke Ashjian, is here. He's a member of the school board at Fresno Unified School District. He was elected last year. He's a return guest. He'll be happy to take your phone calls. He is here. 436-ME-TV, option 11. I'm not going to take a break at this point. I'm just going to go directly to Brooke. Brooke, last night, school board meeting. There's a new principal now at Fort Miller. Name is Mike Jones. Tell us about him a little bit.
You know, Mike's got 29 years in the seat. He's a very, very accomplished educator. He's known for turning around schools. He is a very talented guy, and we're very, very happy and privileged to have a guy of his caliber at Fresno Unified. And we firmly believe that he is going to be the guy that's going to restore order, you know, back to Fort Miller.
Yeah, the story is on today's Fresno Bee. There is the paper right there, and it's below the fold, right over here on the right-hand side. Mike Jones, the new principal at Fort Miller Middle School. And I mentioned here just briefly in the little monologue that I did, all of these events that have taken place at Fort Miller. And I'm looking at this, and I'm about falling out of my seat when I'm reading that article in the paper a couple of weeks ago and saying to myself, how could this happen at one of our schools?
Well, you know, John, it's piece by piece. So you talk about the kid coming to school with a Glock or a pellet gun that looks like a Glock. Fresno Unified has to follow the education code, and the education code says that if you show up with a gun that looks like, you show up with a look-alike gun, it's not an expulsion. If you brandish a look-alike, it's not an expulsion. If you show up with a knife, you're out. So go figure. It's a legislative problem that the education code is about 1.5 inches thick of stuff. There's literally 1,800 laws on the books that talk about a field trip. It's just what it is. So at Fresno Unified, we're following the education code on what has to happen there. What happened with Fort Miller is it's a struggling school to begin with. Two, the principal went out on leave, on a medical leave, and it's a very, very tough deal.
And then you had all these other kids coming from Cooper Middle School, right? Because there was a change there.
There was a boundary shift. We're trying to get them all into the feeder patterns. That's correct. That's not the problem. Let me tell you the problem. The problem is that when we pull the demographics, 98.6% of every kid that goes to Fort Miller is below the poverty line. So for instance, we had to expel a student 3 weeks ago. And so the expulsion officers come in. They said, okay, we're going to expel A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I said, okay, wait a minute. I don't want to hear A through G. I want names, and I want situations. I want families. So let's talk about the first one. Okay, it's a freshman. There was a fight. The girl went at the other girl. Teacher got pushed. Teacher says, I don't want him back. She's been a problem. I go, okay, tell me about the family. What about the family? The father's in prison. Mother is living at a homeless shelter. The daughter gets on a bus after school, goes to the homeless shelter, stays, gets back on a bus, comes back in the morning, tries to go to school. Fresno Unified feeds him breakfast, feeds him lunch, and we wonder why this girl's angry. We wonder why she's mad, why she's having trouble in school. The social economic issues are so plaguing our society, along with the disintegration of the family, which is the problem. It's ruining our city. That, along with no jobs, is killing our city.
I agree with you. Now, here's a guy, ladies and gentlemen, who is trying to do something about it. He's newly elected, Brooke Ashjian. I do want to put up on the screen some full screens, some of the expulsions at some of these middle schools. Fort Miller, of course, leading the way. 305 expulsions. Gaston is next in line, followed by, well, you can read them for yourself on the television screen. I believe we do have another, do we have another screen besides this one? Go ahead and change it. Look at that. My goodness, those are shocking numbers. Even to have one expulsion, you know, is one too many in my book. But getting to the heart of this, Brooke, and I know you're an action guy. You want things done. What can be done at Fort Miller, considering the problem that you just brought up? You just mentioned with this young girl, she's homeless. She goes to the homeless shelter. She goes to school, eats breakfast, eats lunch. She's angry. But what can be done about this violent problem at Fort Miller?
Let me tell you what has been done, and then I'll tell you what could be done and what should be done and what we're continually to do. What has been done is, one, we've put another principal in there. Two, Chief Dyer was before the City Council today getting the approval that Fresno Unified is paying for 2 more officers to be in that area on Dakota between Manchester and Fort Miller permanently. The school district's paying for that.
So how many officers altogether?
2 police officers.
2 police officers.
Police officers are going to be in that area and on that campus every day.
Every day?
Every day.
Okay.
And that's been in the works for a while. We need to bring in more MFTs, more marriage and family therapists, to work with these kids through some of these problems and the anger issues that they have. And we need more counselors. We've got to have more counselors on campus in identifying these kids, working with these kids. We had the campus culture director last night before the board. Poor lady was in total tears. She's saying, just give us some help. And honestly, it got away from us. It's one of those things.
What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean is that
before you came on the board, it got away from the school board?
The school board employs the superintendent. The superintendent employs his staff. And if the food chain doesn't work properly, then the guy at the top doesn't get to know exactly what's going on. The issue is that when the principal went out on medical leave, I don't believe that the staff knew exactly what the magnitude of the problems were. We know what it is. We've reacted properly. I guarantee you we're going to fix this problem. There's no doubt in my mind. But more importantly, what do we do with the PowerPoint that you just put up on that? What do we do with all these expulsions? There has to be something. I can't talk about it today because it's in the works. I will if you'll grant me the opportunity to come back in 30 days. I'll be back.
We'd love to have you
I'll be back in 30 to 45 days, and you're going to hear about it, and it's going to be revolutionary what we're going to do to change Fresno Unified along with the city of Fresno.
And specifically Fort Miller.
Not specifically Fort Miller, specifically underprivileged kids that are on that list.
Okay.
It's coming.
How will putting 2 officers nearby or on campus every day help with the problem?
Well, that's a great question. So, safest place you can be between October 2nd and October 14th is the fair. Jerry Dyer figured it out. Put more officers. Put more officers in the area, on campus. Everything starts to quiet down. We're going to put more security on this campus. The superintendent has been charged with fix it. and here's how we want to see it fixed.
And what was his response last night?
His response,
Michael Hansen, that is.
His response was one of, if this is what I got to do, and this is the direction the board is telling me to go, I'm going.
Yeah, it's a major problem, no question about it. And Mike Jones, how's he going to fit in? You talked about his credentials a little bit, being perfect for the job. What can he do to help in his own little part in this?
Well, it's a great question. So take, for instance, Tenaya Middle School. 18 months ago, we changed principals. It is night and day it's night and day what it used to be. Night and day. It is a fantastic intermediate school that my kids have gone to. It's running at its peak and at the finest performance it's ever run at today.
Right.
Principal did it.
Mike Jones?
No, Lisa Harrington did that one. Mike Jones has done some incredible work as well. We have good people.
How can he help in his role at Fort Miller?
Well, if you give talented people the proper tools and then let them run the program, it works itself out. When you try to micromanage talented people, it doesn't work its way out.
Is he a guy that's maybe going to carry a heavy stick over there?
I think he's gonna walk softly and carry a big stick.
Yeah.
He's got the combination of the two. He's a very, very qualified guy.
Yeah, and so quickly here, we got a couple of minutes left. You know, listen, you're new on the school board. You just got there. You've only been on the board a couple of months. What are some of the other major problems that you've seen since you've been there? You haven't been to that many meetings, actually.
5 or 6. I mean, it's it's an eye-opening experience. I can tell you that the public sector is a different experience than the private sector, and it's the only place where they cut the red tape the long ways. And so, people talk about 3, 5s, and 10s. You'll hear me talk about 3, 5s, and 10s. The public sector works in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. The private sector works in 3 months, 5 months, 10 months. And it's because we don't got 10 years. We got less than 10 months, or we're out of business. So we need to give it a little bit of a testosterone shot and get it going, and get back to the time frames of how we're going to help kids immediately.
Yeah, and the problem is that you got that red tape called the education code that you have to follow too. That's state law.
It is.
And that throws a monkey wrench in there. And is that one of the frustrating parts for you? We got like 30 seconds left.
It's definitely not a roadblock for us. In, around, above, beyond, over the top, we just got to figure out a way.
Safety is of the utmost importance, no
matter what. We can't say it enough times.
Yeah, it really is. Hey, we want you back in 30 to 45 days. Sooner, if you want, if you got time. You know, I know you're a busy guy. You're on the board. You got your own business, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Anytime. You're welcome here. You know that.
Thank you very much, John.
And I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule today.
Absolutely.
Brooke Ashjian, a friend here on Connect With Me as well, member of the school board at Fresno Unified, trying to fix those problems over there at Fort Miller. Hey, I got 10 seconds left. You know what? Get over to City Hall today. They're voting on that water issue. Make your voice heard. You want people to hear you? You've got 3 minutes up there at the City Hall at the microphone. So we're going to see you tomorrow here on Connect With Me. We'll talk about the Armenian genocide tomorrow with a special guest. Have a great day. See you back here in less than 24 hours.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Frigidaire Gallery appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy.
Time for that upgrade to an Energy Star qualified French door Frigidaire Gallery refrigerator. Quality appliances for the way you live.
Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise.